nicotine patches. Right, people? Wearing a nicotine patch. Well, right, right. Right, no, so, and with this, vaping, smoking, I haven't got any, I don't smoke, people. By the way, for the record, I do not smoke. Okay, some people think that when I give certain rulings, it's because I must be following my desires, my dark and evil desires. I do not smoke. Honestly, I can't tolerate the actual the smoke, as in inhaling the smoke. To me, it's just so, it hurts my lungs. I mean, it hurts my throat. Like, yeah. No can do, people. No es posible. Right, so, but that said, many of our our brothers and sisters, many of the many Muslims do smoke. So what is the ruling on wearing a nicotine patch? A nicotine patch is fine, people. It does not violate the fast. Right, so this has been discussed by the Grand Maliki Mufti of his era, Sheikh Muhammad Aziz Al-Ju'ayyid, who was the Grand Mufti of the Maliki and the Sheikh al-Islam of his time in Tunis, who gave this fatwa in the 60s when he's speaking about things like taking injections or other that into your body, and then debating the angle with a Hanafi Mufti, what if they contain nutrients? So not just injections, but what if you are injecting nutrients into your body? And he debates very articulately that why this fast is not about becoming weak or starving. Because the whole argument of the Hanafi Mufti rested on saying that that would give the person strength. And he said, I would agree with you if the objective of Siyam Ramadan is to become weak, but it isn't. So the fatwa was there. I totally agree with it. Nicotine, and many people today have given this fatwa. I'm just saying, the reason I'm quoting him is because he's quite classical compared to them. I mean, it's from, but at least we're talking, 4 or 5 decades ago. But many ulama today, many of the ulama of Al-Azhar, many of the Dur al-Ifta, the places of Ifta throughout the Muslim world, in Jordan, in other places, they've given these kind of fatwas that nicotine patches are fine. Vaping, I would feel, is the same. I would feel that it does not violate the fast. Why? Because it's not actually nutrients in that sense. It's not food, even though it is a kind of steam that you are taking in. It's vape. So I'm not saying these are good things. I want to be clear here that sometimes people think anything I say is not haram must automatically be good. You must do these things. So it's not haram on a normal day to eat soil. It doesn't mean you'll start going out and eating soil. Not everything that is not good for you has to be haram. So when I say something is not haram, I'm not encouraging you to do it. I'm just being clear, but I will not lie. I refuse to lie on behalf of God and say that it is haram just to push an agenda in saying that you should not do this. I think you should be mature enough to make that decision for yourself or face the consequences yourself. So if you are to damage your health by out of your own judgment to do it, then it's your body, it's your health. I would advise you against it, but if you do it, that's something you make a decision to do. But I will not lie. I refuse to lie on behalf of God and pretend that God said it. That's the difference, okay? So now, vaping, it is not, I don't believe it's haram anyway, but I'm just saying I don't believe it violates the fast. Smoking can become slightly more controversial. I mean, it is much more controversial than vaping, I feel. Now, some ulama have said, modern day ulama like Jamal al-Banna from Egypt, and there are a few other modern day scholars that have, like, if you look online, they have said, some people from Al-Azhar and other places have given the fatwa that smoking does not violate the fast. You see, to me, I would say, I mean, I would generally tell people to abstain from smoking anyway, although I do not believe smoking is haram. I've made that very clear. But that said, I believe it's no good for a person's health. Now, if a person followed that fatwa, if they felt that they needed to smoke and they couldn't, nothing else could do it, and they followed that person, generally I would say that, look, don't smoke and resort to patches, nicotine patches and things like this, and this is a great opportunity to stop smoking. That said, some people have said it is permissible and it does not violate the fast. They have based this on prior fiqh understandings, that in fiqh many of the ulama said by just inhaling smoke from a fire, so if you sat on a let's say you sat by a fire and you inhale the smoke, you do not violate the fast. Many ulama would traditionally accepted that did not result in breaking the fast. So the point was, he was basing it on that, in saying, well, what's the difference? Now somebody could say, well, this has some nutritional, one would argue it's not nutritional per se, whether it's the carbon monoxide that is inhaled or nicotine, it's not a nutrient like that, as in something that's going to make you grow and that kind of a nutrient, but you do, what you mean by it contains certain ingredients that will be absorbed by the bloodstream. Now that is true, but so would, one may argue, so would smoke contain certain dangerous elements. Just regular smoke from a fire, by inhaling that, you would have, whether you're going to inhale carbon monoxide or other factors that are dangerous in the air, from smoke, but they don't break the fast. That's what I'm trying to say. So I do feel that if people took that ruling, although I would generally, I would advise people, my own ruling is to resort to patches. But these fatwas do exist, and people have given them, and if somebody followed them, are they blameworthy? I don't think we can blame each other in fiqh anyway. Okay, we're not in a position to blame each other. What you can do is adopt the ruling for yourself. If I smoked, I say this, but I don't smoke, so I don't know what it's like for a smoker, but I would probably resort to the patches. That's what I would do, and that's what I'd advise people. Right, next, lipstick and perfume. Somebody has said, Ayub has asked, doesn't cigarettes affect and stuff consciousness as well as for smokers? Not really consciousness in that sense, but it does have an addiction. The blood actually has a much greater affinity to things like carbon monoxide, ironically, than it does even for oxygen, which makes no sense, which means you're hardwired for destruction. But that's biology for you, huh? Imam Zubair is in the house. Ahlan wa sahlan.